proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, the 2025 season. Connor, we're going to talk a lot more about rallying with some loose and some tar this weekend. What can we say? Last weekend, the RAC rally, and hopefully we'll talk more about that soon, because as we record this, the rally's only getting finished, and it would be so unfair of trying to catch anybody at this stage, so hopefully we'll talk more about that soon. But last weekend we had Fivemiletown, local rally here, and then as well as that, this weekend coming with Killarney Historics, and that's shaping up to be an absolutely epic event, so we've quite a bit to talk about. 5Miletown last weekend, we keep saying this, the pace is getting absolutely bonkers on the gravel, and I think that showed really at the weekend, Connor.
Yeah, and mixed conditions. It was foggy up there too, which, you know, added a bit of excitement on the first stage anyway. But yeah, like the pace on that event, and you know, in addition to the pace and the competition, it was lovely to see Josh Moffat out for a bit of crack.
Yeah, and he just loved it. I was speaking to him there for a few minutes there at the end, and he just was buzzing. He was so disappointed that the rally was over, and like, it's what, 4 or 5 years since the last time he was in the gravel.
Yeah, so that was great. I just thought that was nice. You know, come out and take part in a clubman event and be a clubman for the day.
For sure, yeah. So, and like, you know, Mark Donnelly, we know the prowess he has behind the wheel, you know, so it's nice to see him back, only his second event back and taking the one after being away for a year. And the real feel-good story, the Northern Ireland Championship went down to the last round, and like, it was Jordan and Paul Hone that come out victorious. And they beat, you know, the Dixon family, you know, this whole father-son relationship, you know, the Dixons, it's father and son competing against each other, and the Holmes, it's the father and son in the same car. And tonight on the BBC News, they covered that. And I thought it was a lovely wee story. It's only 2 minutes long or whatever, but again, rallying and the news for the right reasons.
That's it. You know, it's if anytime it makes the mainstream media, that's what we want. We want to get the publicity, and as you say, for the right reasons. And in this case, it's that, you know, father-son family competition piece, and it's, you know, it's those little stories, and they're the type of stories that we always get interested in, and we love to have on the podcast as well. That's
for sure, yeah. And the Oma Motor Club went over and beyond. Like, you know, we said it, and you know, I'll say it during interviews as well. The effort they put into making that event happen after losing it in February, but like, you know, they've had their dinner, they've had the Bushwhacker Rally, and then to run this as well too. Phenomenal.
Yeah, look, they've had a busy couple of months, as you say, that 50th anniversary dinner, then the Bushwhacker itself, always a big event, and doing the night stages, and then to you know, have very little downtime to get the 5Miletown then event up and running, and very well run it was.
That's for sure. And like, another thing then too, I was chatting to Barry Arundel, the Chief Marshal, after the event, and like, a lovely touch they've done was, there's 2 young lads there and they have severe disabilities, but they got them down. The mother contacted the club to see if there was some way of getting them down to have a look around and see what rallying's all about. The club got them down. They had a regroup back in 5Miletown after the first couple of stages, and it was Ben and Nate, the 2 guys. They got them let them wave off the cars, but the drivers come over, got photos taken, had a few words with the guys. Like, make their day, you know. That's such positive news, you know. Like Rachel and Chris, the mum and dad, was there with the boys there as well too. Really, you know, real good news story. Like, and that's the kind of thing we need to talk about in rallying. We also then had a young guy there collecting money for their ambulance. Him and his 2 brothers were involved in a bad accident, I think maybe about a year ago. He was there around service and all, left over 300 quid for their ambulance. Again, this is the kind of thing we need to be talking about. And fair play to Oma Motor Club, making the effort and letting these things happen as well too.
Well, that's it. Look, you know, and to some, you know, degree, they're little things, little touches that can be done, but they make a big difference. And it is about giving back and, you know, being part of the community. You know, rallying, okay, we're a small group, we're a small niche family, but we are part of the community, and where you can give back and see it being given back, it makes a difference to people. And this is where memories are created for to bring in new fans. Like, we all remember as kids going to our first rally to see our first rally car, and it stuck with us. And here we are.
That's for sure, yeah. How many years later will not count.
Yeah.
But anyway, without further ado, we're going to hear from our newly crowned Irish Forestry Champions, as Jordan and Paul Holm, and then that will roll into then the two-wheel drive winners from the event at the weekend, then Shane McGirr and Denver Rafferty.
Aye, yeah, certainly was, Kevin. It was a tricky event now. Yeah, no, look, we really enjoyed it, and fair play to the Motor Club. They put on a really, really good rally with plenty of good stages.
Yeah, because 8 stages for a clubman event, epic as well too, and classic stages. But Oma Motor Club, I spoke to Shane McGirr, and he said the same thing. They've really put their shoulders to the wheel over the last couple of months. They had their 50th anniversary dinner. They had the Bushwhacker, which was a mammoth event. And then to do that again then Saturday, it's full credit to everybody involved there.
I know, absolutely. As you rightly touched on, between the last couple of months, they've put on some excellent events. The Bushwhacker, what can we not say what not already been said about the Bushwhacker? It was a brilliant rally. We talked about the night stages, and I can still picture them yet, and still rave about them yet. They were brilliant. And then with the likes of the regroup in Castle Laird and Friday evening as well, they really put a big effort into it. And fair play to them. They were well supported, and everybody has raved about it ever since. But even just to go back to Fivemiletown as well, they put on a really good event with brilliant stages. So it's been a very popular event. Something that but we've never done together though. It was the first time we ever went through some of them stages. But the likes of Jenkins is certainly as good as any stage in Ireland, any gravel stage in Ireland. So no, really enjoyed it.
You can understand now what the fuss is about the event. We've never been competing in before.
I know, certainly. Yeah, well, I think we'll be back.
Because Paul, it is one of those events that always kind of traded in below the radar. It was never really around the Northern Ireland Championship. It was just really a real clubman event, but it always got strong entries. And being part of the Northern Ireland Gravel Championship now, it has opened up maybe a few more eyes to it that maybe wouldn't normally see it.
Oh, yes, yeah. You can always depend on Home and Motor Club to make a good event, that's for sure, because they have good workers, and stages are always good, and they always throw in wee ideas, like the regroup in Castle Derrick, and we had the regroup out in the school there in Fivemiletown as well, so it was good for the local people to come and see that,
Yeah, and what a fantastic thing that was too. They had 2 young guys there to wave you off from the regroup as well.
Yes, I think it was Ben and
Nate.
Nate.
No, they were at the start at the regroup. As my father says, it's good for them to bring the rally to the people as such. Yeah, no, great initiative, and nice to see them guys there at the regroup as well.
Yeah, because
I wanted to see the cars.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know, it's 2 young lads in wheelchairs, 2 brothers. And their mother contacted the club, wanted somewhere for them to go and see rally cars, and to get so up close, and for some of you guys to go over and have a quick word with them and let them wave the flags off. It just made their day. And that's what it has to be about. We're such a nice sport, but we have such good competitors, we have such good people, and it's nice to share that with the wider world.
Yeah, we should be doing more of that, yes.
That's for sure. And speaking of that, anybody at BBC News tonight, we're recording this on the Tuesday night, yes, featured on the news, and again, a real good, feel-good story. It was yourselves featured, and also the Dixons, the father-son relationships there, and again, rallying on mainstream media for the right reasons.
Yeah, it means it was a good family story. I mean, Ashley and Stephen and Ian, they're all great competitors, and it was nice to see it covered. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I could Jordan, for you to be part of that. Yes, fantastic and all that, and to see your car on the TV. It also will help for going out looking for sponsors. That this is a positive news story.
No, absolutely, Kevin. Fair play to the Northern Ireland Forestry Championship and the Tarmac Championship as well this year. Over the past number of years, they've put in a lot of effort into the promotion of their events, and it's clear to be seen. People that that would not follow rallying at all, that are following it because they see it on the news, and they see the names, they see the cars, and and they take some interest in it. And as you say, you know, that's only going to bring more people into the sport, and as you touch on, the sponsors as well.
For sure. And then Paul, like you know, like the commitment that goes into the rally, and you've seen what Jordan's put into this. This is not just a pair of you rocking up on the Saturday morning. There's a lot of effort, a lot of work goes into this before you ever jump in the car to head towards the rally.
That's something that nobody sees, Kevin, you know, because I mean, I see him here and he spends hours watching in cars from previous events and, you know, fine tuning his pace notes. It takes an awful lot of time, you know. I mean, even on the events nowadays, I mean, we come out of stages now, he's making me read back through the notes and making me changes that he's thought of when he went through the corners. And years ago, we used to come out of stages. Now I'd be looking into people's gardens, admiring the flowers and things. But it's all different. You have to be on your toes, like, you know, and all these wee things make the difference.
Exactly what does.
Because if you're not doing it, everybody else is doing it. You know, this is the thing, isn't it? You know, that's the And like we've seen this year too, like with the introduction of Donegal Forestry, yes, we're doing in. Like there's guys now coming in and trying the gravel rally and that maybe haven't done it in the past, and each to a man or a woman are loving it, and they can see the appeal now as well too, which is great to see that it's opening it up to a broader horizon.
Yeah, I don't know why it's taken people so long. We've loved it. You know, ever since I started, whenever we went together in the micros, you know, we've always loved the gravel. It's just a sensation of the speed and the car sliding and just on the edge of the grip all the time. It's just it's something else, certainly.
And like Paul,
far more relaxed, Kevin. You know, and the competitors are great. Like, you know, it's all good fun.
Yeah, but Paul, from sitting in the car and hearing the rocks bouncing off the floor, do you have to kind of tune all that out and just forget about it and drive the road in front?
Well, you do cringe, Kevin, you know. Especially when I speak to Adam on Monday morning and there's repairs to be done and the bumpers are broke and the wings are damaged. And it's not generally that bad, but certainly, I mean, the car was an investment for us, so you do worry about it, yes. Yeah.
I don't think about it.
That's his problem.
Both our problems, but
And then Paul, you know, like you've been a co-driver for I would say more years than you care to remember. Like, is it different there? You know, a father or son in the car. Is there a different dynamic, or do you kind of forget about that bit when you're sitting in that seat and you're calling notes?
Well, I mean, you do have to put it in the back of your mind. I mean, I've learned more from him than I learned over the years myself, Kevin, you know, because he goes for perfection, really, you know. Everything has to be right, like, and even now when you come into service, I mean, years ago you'd have been going for a feed of sandwiches and a cup of tea, but now there's none of that. You're onto the DVD and watching the stages again and preparing for the next loop, you know. So, no, it's I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it is a wee bit of pressure sometimes, you know. Yeah.
But do you still get the same buzz, the same enjoyment out of it as ever?
I could probably do, yeah. That's worrying on the day. I mean, whenever you're on the start line and it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you know, you think to yourself, what am I doing here? I shouldn't be here, you know. I'm the weak link here, but no, you still enjoy it, like, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And like, Jordan, from your point of view, like, it would be like, yes, you've had other co-drivers in the past, but you keep going back to your dad. He is that, you know, reassuring, that steady voice in your ear.
Certainly, Kevin. It's you know, as well as, you know, having somebody that's done all the rallying for I don't know, many, do we say how many years? No, but a lot. And you know, it's just somebody to have that experience, somebody that you can trust on and rely on and ask questions. You know, he's been there and sometimes done it before. And yes, as you say, I've had plenty of good navigators in the past, but it's always nice to go back out and have a day sport with your dad, like, you know.
Because those are the memories that you will carry with you forever, aren't they? Like, especially days like Saturday. It wasn't easy by no manner of means, but the end result says it all.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, we didn't make it easy for ourselves on Saturday. You know, we had a puncture in the final stage. We were trying to race for the finishing third with Josh and Nanda, you know. Not that I think we were going to beat them anyway because they were coming hard at the end, but it was still nice to race for them. but unfortunately we got the puncture on the last run over Jenkin. It's just the tyre seemed to pop off the rim, and I lost all the air pressure obviously, and yeah, it was just a matter of getting to the end after that, and thankfully we were able to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And like Paul, like Saturday, I think really showed like this was kind of probably the last event for the the big restrictors. So next year everybody will go on equal. Like the must be, was it the type of the stages or what there on Saturday? The big restrictors weren't making a huge difference. The cars were very even. Like nobody run away and hid from anybody. Like there was a lot of people shared fastest times. I think this bodes really, really well because we see that the Southern Championship this year with everybody under one restrictor, how competitive that is. I think this could just take, even though the Northern Championship this year has been exceptional, next year it promises to be even better.
Oh, it's going to be far better, Kevin, because I mean, there's always doubt about whether people's using the right restrictor, and I know you're measured and all that scrutiny, but it's going to be a lot fairer for people like too. I think on Saturday it was very, very slippy, very mucky. Possibly the bigger restrictor didn't, help you that much, It always suited us anyway because we only ran it a couple of times, maybe back in the tarmac events, like. But no, it definitely works better when everybody's on the same.
Yeah.
I don't think the stages lended it to the 34-mile restrictor,
Possibly.
Even with the nature of the shorter stages, it probably wasn't going to lend itself anyway. I mean, you only have to look at Derek's times in the first couple of stages. I know Derek will be on the 32-mile restrictor, and he was flying, so he was certainly going hard, and unfortunate for him, he didn't get too far after the second stage.
Yeah.
Felt bad for him, see him at the end of the stage. But it's what it's going to do, Kevin, is it's going to make it more competitive. Everybody's going to be on equal footing, and that's going to help it, I think.
Yeah, because the Northern Ireland Championship this year, went down to the wire. Yourselves, the Dixons, and that's what we want going to watch a rally. We want to see the quickest guy won. And not trying to figure out is he run the big restrictors or where we're at. It's straight. It's down the line. Everybody. It's not taking nothing away from the other guys. They're driving to the rules, but it just shows where the pace is going to be. That everybody's at the same level.
Yeah. Yeah. It's confusing for people too. They're watching the rally. They don't understand why you're back in 7th or 8th and one man's leading it. But no, look forward to the day that it's all.
For sure. And next year, I suppose it's already that time of the year that we're already looking forward to next year. The car's up for sale. Is the plan then to upgrade or just see what happens over the winter? Or?
No, look, the car's for sale. The car's stood as well over the past number of years, and it'll stick to somebody else as well. It'll be a good car for somebody. But yeah, there's certainly the intention is to try and upgrade to a Rally 2 car or something along them lines. What that might be, yes, I don't know. Yeah, I would like to go back and do the Irish Forestry Championship. I think that would be what I would try and push for. There's good competition there, as you say, this year, and no doubt it's going to be even better next year because I know they're putting a lot of effort on it. They're bringing in a lot of new events. It's not me to spoil their news, but I think they're going to put a big push on it. For next year and bring in some good events, some new events, and hopefully it's well supported as it's always been the past number of years. Yeah,
for sure. And we see it the weekend there in the RAC Rally, and we've seen it all year. That our guys can go anywhere and be competitive, and it shows that the level, the quality that we have here. We're punching above our weight at all levels, whether that's tarmac or on gravel or wherever. And that and that's because of the resurgence of the gravel championship, the high level of pace, and it must give you great heart then that you're starting a rally. I can be as quick as anybody here.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah, the reason probably why anybody in this country can go anywhere in the world and be as competitive as they are, probably because of how competitive it is here. On Saturday and the other events we've done this year in the championship, we're fighting for tenths of seconds in places. There's nothing left a chance. We've already touched on how much effort it goes into it. Everybody's doing that, and that carries them. That's carried forward to wherever anybody can go.
Yeah, for sure. And then you touched on the car there, how well it has served you, and how reliable it has been. and that again is down to the man running it on the spanners there, Adam Platt and his team. Like, it's an exceptional, the outfit he runs, like, every car that comes out of that their shed is just a credit to them.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, he's very, very professional at his job. Like, he does a very good job. Even for Jordan and him having a chat about the car, he can know exactly what's going on with it and what needs to be done. And he's very, very good. And he's good. He's good lads there too, helping him out. Like, some very good lads at the present time.
Yeah, because like, Jordan, you're stepping out of that car, your adrenaline's flowing. You need somebody that can understand what you're feeling through that steering wheel to put that into a few different clicks here and there.
I know, certainly, even like, so whenever we go test for a test there, something might happen, or I might feel something in the car, and I have an idea in my head of what it might be, but as soon as I said to Adam, whenever we pull in, he has an answer right away, and it's, no matter what it is, he knows straight away. It's just familiarity with his work, and as we touched on already, he knows he's a good team there, and he knows everything that's part of that car, and yeah, I like to think that I like to perfect everything that I can do preparing for a rally, but Adam he definitely is a perfectionist,
That's for sure, yeah. And then, we know how expensive rallying can be, and you can't make this all happen without the sponsors as well.
That's for sure, Kevin. We're very lucky this year. Like, we have a few people come on board, like Michael Donaghy, and we've always had TOC Utilities have been very good to us over the years. Curly Cars, Connor, he just loves rallying, it's good to have him on board too. A few other local people that support us, do wee jobs in the car and do wee painting jobs and things, and it's all very much appreciated, that's for sure. Yeah.
That takes everybody, everybody's name on the car as well as not included in the car. There's a lot of people involved in the background that even, it's us and us to look after it and are focused on it in the house, but there's mother and sister here as well that that are just as involved.
Yeah.
I know it's only for them too that they can give us as much support as they can. It's, I think the only name there we didn't touch on was Michelin and Pro Tire as well. They've been a big help with the tires, and giving us feedback and giving us direction on what tire to go out on. But some good sponsors, and very grateful for them, and nice to get win the championship and give some of that support back to them.
Shane, home rally on Saturday, and you come away with the win. It wasn't simple, but I'm sure it was nice to get the win.
It was nice to get the win. Fivemiletown's been one of them rallies. It's been good to us and been very bad to us and been okay to us, but we've had more bads than goods, to be fair on it. But we hadn't much time to do much work on our prep on it. Work was busy and life's busy with a young family and stuff too, and Denver's busy, so his life's busy too there, and just didn't get much prepping done till it. But thankfully the stages was very similar to the previous year, which left our note on our notes was simpler, so we actually used 2024 notes, which was easy enough, so
yeah,
we tore on.
Yeah, and Denver, we often talk about the prep that goes in beforehand. Sometimes, as Shane was saying, life gets in the way. It's not always easy, and maybe that's kind of where the forestry has the wee bit of advantage, that you don't, you have no recce, but you still need to put a wee bit of time into the notes beforehand.
That's right. They're watching the DVDs. It's a pleasure to sit and actually watch a DVD with a cup of tea and a biscuit, rather than go down maybe 2 nights before the event and stay in a hotel and then go out and do a recce and a full day of recce, and then up the next day you have your scrutiny, and then you have the next day of the rallying and stuff like. And the forestry is definitely, when it comes to the whole work side of it and life side of it, the forestry definitely is the way to go, on that side of it.
Yeah, but isn't it great to see the support that forestry rallying has? It has really, especially in the last year, 18 months, it's just really took off.
That's right. Even if you look at the weekend there, we were seated the first two-wheel drive at 21, and it was 20 R5 cars in front. And back at the start of the year, that was the kind of entries that there was for national events, on TAR and international events, and now the forestry now has got very, very popular, and it's great to see it as well.
That's for sure. Shane, we've seen there recently Donegal forestry guys out trying forest for the first time, and all, loving it. Daniel had your car out for the weekend. He's just mad to get back out again.
Aye, there is a fair few good new names coming into the gravel, and I think they're starting to realise it's good to see Joyce Moffat back, because he was just saying life's busy too, and it was just so much easier to go to the woods. And he seemed to enjoy it, and his pace come good at the end, but it was nice to see the young lads. It's a good, that J1000 thing in the South, magic thing for the young lads to get them an interest in it. Then they're coming 18, and there's young lads there that would have been in the J1000, it's now maybe 18 or 19 is in your local northern rallies and stuff now too, so it's benefited all, like.
Yes, for sure, that's for sure. Like you seen Donegal Forestry, Ben McFall finished second two-wheel drive there at the weekend. Young Moffat, Tommy Moffat, finished third in the two-wheel drive. The day is coming that they're going to nip you guys for the
without a doubt,
two-wheel drive.
The young boys are soon going to pass the old boys. There's no question about that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But that's good to see the young lads, But I always was under the opinion of if a young lad's going to try and make it in this sport, he needs to be beating us old boys, really. You need to be close to them.
Yes.
In probably less paired cars and stuff. But I'm an old man now, like jeepers cripes about it. The young boys, if you're going to try and make it in the game, you need to be beating out us old boys. We're coming close. Like young Moffat wasn't far of us there.
No, that's for sure. Yeah.
Them's bright talents, them lads, when they're coming up in that.
Yeah, because we often say there's we're in a real purple patch. The young talent coming up. The likes of yourselves is still about and still so competitive. You still want to go out and beat everybody that's in front of you. So it's a real real purple patch for Irish rallying on both on tar and on gravel, because there's no soft rallies anymore, no matter where you go.
Oh, never is. Typical the weekend to the two-wheel drive. Before it even started, there was possible at 5 to 6, 7 possible winners. You couldn't have picked one out of it at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bushwhacker, and we looked at the Bushwhacker at the start of the year, was the top 10 two-wheel drives was capable of winning it, any one of them.
Yeah.
You couldn't have really said such and such was going to do it or not do it. There was 10 capable drivers there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it shows, the quality of what we have as well too. Paul Barrett and Mark McCormick this weekend, just coming out of the RAC rally. Paul was at the Bushwhacker, Marty was in Donegal Forestry, and it's not that they run away and hid from everybody else. They were in the middle of that whole battle along with all the rest of you. So it shows that the pace is here as well.
It is good to see that, and it's nice to sometimes go somewhere different. We have done a few UK rallies and done okay in some of them and not so good in other ones too, but it's nice to judge your pace, against somebody, the fast guys out there, as Matthew Robinson said to us in Kielder, how come you always have to come to us? He said, we never go to use. He was very open about that, which was nice. But it is true. If you the Irishman wants to try to judge his pace again in English car or Welsh car, we'll have to go to them.
That's for sure, yeah. And Denver, we have the drivers, we have the cars, and we have the forest now as well too, because Donegal had 14, 16 kilometre stages there at the weekend. Fivemiletown, brilliant stages again too. There's so many good stages here as well that we probably deserve a round of the BTRDA championship or something similar to that, because we have all the ingredients here.
That's right. The likes of Jenkin there and Krunching Rally and Doon at the weekend, there were great stages. You go to the Bushwhacker, you have Bradens, you have the Garrick Holtons, you have the Cleaters. Even go to the Lakeland, Ballintempo, go to Cork there, any forest at all. But Ballintempo there, it proved there as well. The Lakelands could run the full rally in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the mileage is there and the stages are great and the surface is good and everything, the clubs run a great events.
Yeah.
So they do.
Well, because as you said there, every club, look at Oma Motor Club, they've run their 50th anniversary dinner, they run the Bushwhacker, 2 hard, heavy days, and then they're at the weekend again too. An absolute credit. And that's just one club, all the rest of them's out there putting their shoulders to the wheel. That's for sure, and it's this the work behind the scenes probably that the likes of people doesn't see. What clubs actually put into the events is phenomenal, and the entries that they're getting and the way they're running the events. And you go back to even the Bushwhacker there, and Shane will tell you there as well. You arrived to the start of the stage and 2 cars at the start line. You nearly had to be going to the control with the helmet on, and you were buying into the stage and go.
And Fivemiletown there at the weekend was the same.
And the Lakeland was the same. The way the format was too, because it was one stage onto the next, and there was no hanging about.
Definitely, there's a credit to the clubs now what they do and all the hard work behind the scenes. Like, there's, to be fair, when you're probably competing and stuff like that, you don't actually see half the work that goes into it. But now only for them and clubs and even marshals as well. Like, you know, like Saturday morning we were driving up the road and you couldn't have seen a finger in front of you with fog, and the marshals was out on the stages and the crowd was there, like, and it just shows the support that's there.
That's for sure, yeah. I can see that is a good point there. Like, you know, the marshals, like, it's the same pool of people they keep drawing from, and like that they're prepared to give up their Saturdays to go out and do it on our Friday nights or whatever as well too. Like, it's an absolute credit to all that Orange Army out there doing that work as well.
Oh, without a doubt, there's a magic team, you know, and they always seem to have had to pull together a great bunch of guys and girls, you know, to do it. And I see that, you know, there's new young generation. There's a wee lad there from Clogher does be at all them events, like, and, you know, a lovely wee cub, and he'd always come up and chat to you at the door, like, and a good communication, you know, it's good for them lads to be out and about and that, you know, and meeting people and seeing, and, you know, it's good for their life benefits too, like.
That's for sure, because they're socialising and, you know, they're getting to meet different people and work as part of a team.
It is, and they know, you know, they understand how to run as a team and work as a team, and, you know, that everybody has to pull their bits of weight, and, you know, we couldn't be running without the marshals. We all know that, like. That's
for sure. And, like, you know, 5Miletown doesn't get any closer to home for you. Like, does it bring its own different pressures, like having the rally on your doorstep?
Not really. Listen, I'm too old for pressure, really. I just do one corner at a time, and, you know, to be honest, it's probably the opposite. The problem is when you do a stage more and more and more, I don't get faster on the thing, I tend to get slower. Because you've had a moment here and you've had a moment there, and you're pulling this corner back, there's a hole on the inside of that. And if you went to Kielder or Gridesdale or somewhere where you never know the stages, the corner is as Denver calls it. You know, but sometimes then you start thinking and find out, hold on, there was a hole in that corner the last time we come here and we kicked out. You know, where you're not always driving till the note. Where if you're doing something strange, you're driving to the note, and if that hole's there, it's tough teddy, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Or normally 5Miletown, not our corner, not our corner.
We have a lot of our corners. And straights. now we have our chicane too.
That's it.
Yeah, I could, like a headlight for the ladder wouldn't be the easiest thing to find now, either, is it?
Oh, they're no bother at all.
Are they not? Oh, well.
All the cheap, you can buy them out of Latvia and these countries there for maybe €20.
Oh, well.
Oh, no problem.
And you know, like Sam Stewart this year, you know, the Class 13 car, like now it's a 2-litre car, but he is going at some pace as well too, and full credit to him as well.
Sam has come on hard well this last year or two, you know, and his pace is there every rally now. And there's no easy, sure. Damien Turris is flying there too, you know. Damien's, you know, he turned to gravel, was it last year he started gravel? And, you know, he's come on leaps and bounds, and, you know, whatever it is about the forest rally, a good tarmac man can turn the forest, or a good forest man can't necessarily turn the tar. You know, that's what I think on that, you know. I struggle with the tar. I'd never ever be fit to drive on tar. Like, I just can't manage it, and I'm in the wrong place on the road, and I can't judge lanes, and I can't judge the grip on the tar, you know. So good tarmac men seems to master the gravel fairly quickly for some reason.
And you would nearly almost think it would be the opposite. They wouldn't be used to the car moving about below them and things, you know. So
well, they seem to do. You know, Damien's flying there, like, and Sam's flying there too, you know. So Sam had a wee whoopsie at the weekend there, but apart from that, he was causing us lots of bother. Like.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
you know,
and like on stages you're familiar with, like he hasn't been to 5Miletown maybe once before. I think.
No. Yeah. But then, as I say again, I think that's where it comes into driving to your note.
Yes.
You know. So Denver and 5Miletown, she's sort of like sitting there
looking around me.
But like, you know, have to suppose again touch on what the club has done. You know, put on a rally there, like just a clubman rally. You know, part of the Northern Ireland Championship, yes, but to put on an event with 8 stages, and now you're going to have to turn that round and run it again now in what 3.5 months time. That's huge commitment.
serious commitment. We talked about this too. The commitment they put into the Bushwhacker this year. Any other club would have just said, let Fivemiletown go. It's gone. We missed it in February. We've done enough. They're burned out.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be burned out at that stage with the, as you said, anniversary night and then the big Bushwhacker. The serious motivation. So you have to take your hats off them. Serious credit to them.
Yeah.
I really thought that it just said, £5 goes around the next year. But no, not Oma Club.
And they can always find wee variations in the stage as well. It's not just completely copy and paste every year either. They can reverse the stages, take a wee different turn here or a different turn there. There's always some wee innovation that they always seem to find. Yeah,
there's great motivation in these clubs, and they're always thinking ahead and they're thinking for next year and what are we going to change, what can we do to make it better. It's always, it's never that was a good event, we'll just run it again. It's never as simple as that. They're always motivated to keep pushing on.
Yeah.
Which I suppose you have to be in everything in life, but.
And they run the night stages as well too. They didn't the previous time they run just the one night stage. This year they run 4 night stages.
Yeah.
4, yeah. How do you find rallying in the dark?
Not a massive lover rally.
Denver side.
Not a massive lover rally in the dark, but we have seriously come to the conclusion we need to invest in better lights. In the Bushwhacker. I thought we had right good lights until we seen everybody else running in front of us.
Yes.
And gee, was we started, I can't even remember what stage it was. I don't remember. Over the bridge, and we were sitting. There was Samsonas and Alan Smith and all the boys in front, and Paddy McToll and all them boys put on these lights and they lit up the whole place. We come to start the stage, we put on our lights. What's happened here? And the marshal actually walked around to see was the lights on. Our lights was that bad, and I thought they were great, but when you're on the stage, they were no good.
Right.
So I think now if we would invest maybe in a better set of lights, I actually really enjoyed the dark stage of the Bushwhacker for once, but we were very lucky with the weather.
Yes.
It was a nice night, dry, clear night. If you had a dark, miserly,
foggy,
wouldn't be as nice now.
No, that's for
I
sure.
wouldn't have the motivation for the RAC now with all that fog and no.
And Denver from the passenger seat then too, in the forest, there's no street lights, there's no nothing. It's dark. Is that a whole different sensation for you as well?
Of course it is. You can only see basically what the lights is going to show you, and you kind of need to just keep following. More, to be fair, it's more enjoyable rallying in the dark, but you need more concentration because you don't have the daylight of, you get through the DVD and you can always pick up wee markers that actually maybe a tree or an opening or something like that. The forest, you don't have that. You just have to try and gauge where you are and just try and, whenever you're on the notes, and just stay on them and try and keep a bit in front. But if you go too far in front, you can go off very handy. You'll go off the note very handy.
Yeah.
So
and then there's no way to find your way back in again.
That's right. Yeah. At least in the daylight there, if you did go off a note or something like that, you could always mind there's a junction ahead, or there's a chicane, or there's an opening, or something like that. But it's totally different. But it's more enjoyable in the dark, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But it's now sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad.
Yeah. And then Shane, will that be you wrapped up for the year then now? Is get the car refreshed?
Definitely wrapped up for the year, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like rallying on as far into the winter, I like to get out of the Bushwhacker and maybe the dog leap or something. And my biggest dread would be the car line and heap of scrap over the winter and us busy with work, and that would be my worst nightmare. At least the car comes out, needs a bit of mechanical work, that's okay, that's the end of season job for that. But work been busy and I just don't have the time for sitting with the yoke line in the shed and it needing benched and pulled and all this. I couldn't, but no.
Yeah. Only 5 Miletown was on your doorstep, you probably wouldn't have bothered.
I wouldn't have done it to genuinely. That's why we didn't do Donegal or the dog leap. I was sort of said, listen, I'm done here. And I actually sort of still had in the back of my head the Fivemiletown wouldn't run. And I was sort of hoping it wouldn't run with work commitments. And I just, I said, listen, and that's why I ended up, I had the car for Donegal, because at that stage I still had the Starlet.
Yes.
And I thought, sure, if Donald happens to tip this out, Yorkshire Starlet will do the best for Fivemiletown.
Yes.
I don't want a wall too on me.
And was it a sad day from the start it left the yard for the last time?
I suppose it was. But I'm not very emotional and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. So everything's for sale. That's my way I look at things. And we probably took the best years we could take out of it. Still a damn good car.
Yeah.
Obviously, as everybody knows, not the tidiest car in the world, but it was well maintained. The running gear's really good in it. It's still a well capable car. I'm sort of also thankful it left the country.
Yes.
Because it would really annoy my head if somebody was going out and beating me every time I went out in it. That was the biggest dread. I was quite happy that it actually left the country.
Yes.
There was a couple of Irish guys who was on about buying it, and they were serious on buying it. And I thought, oh, gee, this happens to each other. And there was a fairly young lad who was on, and a quick young driver he was too, and I thought this would be a bad job. It ended up it went to Jersey, and maybe all the better.
Yes.
Now, the downside of it going to Jersey, it's more going to be doing tarmac rallying, which they don't have any forests out there, But I like to see it staying in the forest again, But
yes.
listen, this Gary can do what he wants it now.
That's for sure. And then after Donegal, there could be a man down this part of the world who will be looking to buy the Lada now as well.
It's for sale too. Everything's for sale.
So, Daniel, if you're listening, pick up the phone.
Well, it would be hard to talk to now, to be fair. It would be hard to talk to sell it. I don't think we'd sell that.
And Shane, I suppose finally there's always a few people you'd like to thank for all the effort put in over the year.
Yeah. I'm very lucky. Me and Dad was very lucky with our wee crew that we have, with Ronnie Coulter and Amy there, so they go everywhere with us, and I mean, so that never anything's a bother, and we're just sort of a wee family bunch that we're on about with, and then Bobby's on board here a lot of the time now, and Bobby just goes, oh, I'm going. I said, listen, Bobby, if you're busy, don't worry about it. No, I'm going, I'll be there, see you at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, Hey, Bobby just fixes everything on the side of the road, and magic man, so. And Amy, as I said, Amy and them said, just travel the country over and whatever you want, there's never a question about it. A great commitment. Now, we're very lucky this weekend with Sam Stewart's boys. We had problems. We hit the chicane and then we produced an oil leak, and we were very lucky. We were very lucky in the line that we ended up back at service, and we were carrying 4 or 5 gallon oil about us all day, and putting oil in. It happened at the right time, and the right boys were there at the right place, Ryan Loughearn got us out of a hole there too, in service. So very thankful it's done all. But that's rallying. Everybody pulls together, and Ryan was looking after Q McQuaid that was in a battle with us too, and there's other sports you'd go to, there would be no way you'd get that part. Where the rallying knows you'll get whatever you want. They'll borrow or they'll lend or whatever you need. It doesn't matter whether you're competing with them boys or not. And the same with us. Any man will get anything out of our van. They want to keep going.
So thanks there to all the guys there. And another guy we should give a special shout out to as well is Lewis Porter. Lewis is another guy who gets out there, marches along with his father, and his father is Nigel. And again, giving back to the sport as well too, so fair play to the Nigel and Lewis there. Connor, this weekend coming up then, probably one of the most eagerly anticipated events of the year, Killarney Historics. The entry we thought last year couldn't be topped. I think they've gone and done it.
For a rally that isn't part of a championship, it is such a great event. It is an event we all look forward to. And as you say, every year, it just gets better and better. And, it's not just on one side, it's not just an extra amazing driver or an extra amazing, car we're waiting to see. It's a combination of all of those.
Yeah, and more.
Yeah.
And
on top of fantastic stages as well, World Cup and,
Oh, yeah. And we we're trying to think who would be good people to give us that Killarney fever. And I think we hit the jackpot, Connor. We got defending champion co-driver Rory Kennedy. He won the rally last year with Donegal. He won it 35 years ago with Bertie Fisher to claim the championship. The wealth of knowledge, his enthusiasm for the sport is unrivaled. And then to join him with Sean Moriarty, the voice of Kerry Motorsport News, what a guy. Just you're buzzing talking to him. You're just why you love the sport when you chat to them two guys.
look, they're both enthusiastic fans and competitors, and just fountains of knowledge. And again, they're full of stories, they're full of crack, they're full of all the little tiny bits of information that go on behind the scenes. And as we're about to hear, we got plenty out of them.
That's for sure. So let's hear from Rory and Shaw. Rory, big weekend, come back as defending champion.
Oh, I came back as defending champions, and there's nothing easy about running the Killarney Rally. Killarney Historic Rally, I can tell you. And to go back there as champions, it's nice to be able to go back and run number one, and done as well upward. And we've put a lot of preparation into this rally like we do for all rallies. So it'll be interesting to see. We have plenty of opposition, I can assure you this time, and there'll be nothing simple about it.
That's for sure. And not only defending champion, but roll the clock back 35 years. Yourself and Bertie won the rally in the M3 as well. Not only to clinch the rally, but to clinch the championship. Killarney holds a very special place in your heart, even to this day.
Well, it's surreal, really, to think about it. My rally career's come full circle. I've said that many times, and and to get this opportunity to rally with Donna now so late in my career, and to rally with a fabulous M3 again is obviously my favourite rally car. And Donna's a champion rally driver, as you know, and very capable. And to go and win the rally last year was very much a highlight. But to think back 35 years ago that we were there in virtually the same car and competing with Austin McHale in virtually the same car as well. But that was, interestingly enough, that was our first win together, Bertie and I's first international win together. And as you probably know the story of that rally, the Russians were there, Austin was there. Austin broke down towards the end of the rally, and we just had to hold the Russians off then to win the rally, which we did. And it was a double celebration, really, because we secured our first Tarmac Championship title that year. And really, that was the beginning of a fabulous partnership, if you like. And we went on then to have tremendous success in the years that followed that, and particularly in Killarney. The Killarney Rally of the Lakes. It's brilliant, one of the best rallies in the country, and some of the stages are incredible to use. And we've had the pleasure of doing that for many, many years, and long may it continue.
For sure, for sure. Sean, hear stories like that really does put the hairs up in the back of your neck.
Absolutely. I think Rory captured it there perfectly. It's the full circle. We're going back to our youth, and we grew up around these cars, and now they're still the number one car. And I wonder, will the Rally 2 cars hold as much fever in 20, 30 years' time? And I don't think so. Or maybe that's our era. I don't know. Rory's right. I mean, 35 years ago, it was the birth of the BMW, the first real wins. The Russians were in town. It was the rally of the snow and ice. The club went out of their way to make the rally work because the first loop in the morning had to be cancelled over sheet ice. They had shorter versions of Carroll Lake and Churchtown to get the rally up and on Saturday, and Sunday was a beautiful day. I remember it, and I just remember the sight and the sound of the BMW's Bertie, Austin, the Russians, and no one really knows how the Russians came to town, but it's part of Irish folklore, it's part of Irish rally folklore, and to think that we're still talking about it here 35 years later, and I think that kind of, Rory number one on the road completes the circle in one sense. And then having Chris Meek here doing the rally, and it was Sidney Meek that ran Bertie's cars, and Chris was probably a wee nipper around at the time. I don't know if he was involved in this particular rally or not, but it's surreal to think that the whole jigsaw of what we experienced 35 years ago is about to be repeated in some shape or form this weekend coming. And there's all sorts of elements to it. That was the famous GXI 9427 rally car that Bertie drove that day. That car was made famous by Bertie, by Billy Coleman, by Patrick Snyers. Snyers is here in town as well this weekend in a slightly different car. And you have all these little side stories going on, and I think that's one of the most incredible things about the Killarney Historic Rally, that it's a massive rally, it's huge, it's Christmas in Killarney, but it generates all these little side stories, and a man like me won't be quite this time of year anyway.
But Rory, it's over 5 years ago, me and you done the very first ever Krunching gears, and one of the questions I asked that night, what is your favourite rally car from them all? And it was the M3. It's not that you've jumped on the bandwagon over the last couple of years. as a car that holds a very special place in your heart.
Oh, for sure, Kevin. Like anybody's had the joyous opportunity to sit in an M3 will tell you the same thing. The noise, the power, the handling, the just experience of those cars is something else. And when I came back to do my first rally, we don't know which is the Killarney Historics, about I think it's 4 years ago, Kim, or maybe this is our fifth Historics together. But anyway, when I got into it, we're only just going up Malls Gap a wee bit, and then somewhere in the back of my way back in my memory here, I got a wee twinge of this is familiar, and it came back to me a wee bit. But the cars are tremendous. Back then, when the M3s came out of Pro Drive first, they were incredible cars. Like they were the Rally 2 cars of the present day, the most modern car you could get. And Patrick Snares had won the Manx Rally the previous year. It really was the rally car to have at the time, and it left an indelible mark on me. And even when Bertie was there, and if he was here today and you asked him the same question, I believe he would give you the same answer, that the M3 was his favourite car, and he drove it like he stole it, because they were absolutely spectacular. And there's some pictures shown from way back in the day when we used to do the long version of Carroll Lake. And when we come in from Carroll Lake, went down the other side of the lake to the post office and turned right and headed away in that area. And I have a picture in the office still of that corner. And often people come in and say, "Oh, I know where that is there, that corner, we spectate there," something. But again, to come back to the M3 side, they're a fantastic car. And it's hard to believe as well that here we are 35 years later, and there's 6 M3s in the top 10. Like 6 M3s in the top 10 in a rally in Ireland. I think there's a total of 11 in the whole rally. Out of 64 cars, there's 11 M3s. Like, where they're sort of taking over from the Mark IIs at this point.
And Rory, like, in its heyday, I suppose the M3 in Ireland was probably only had a very, short window of competition. But as you say, look at the popularity, the resurgence now. Like, what would you put that down to?
It's hard to know exactly what you would put it. There's no one thing, Connor. It's Mats van der Brand, as you know, and he's been on the show, Kevin, a couple of times, and Mats has regenerated this whole BMW M3. He brands it the rebirth of a legend, and that's on all the cars. You might see it there written on the front of the bonnet. And Mats has produced a car that's capable of winning these historic rallies again, and they're built to a very high standard, and all the proper technology that you can put into a historic car at this stage, which is a wee bit limited, but nevertheless, the cars are as good as they were way back in the day, if not better. And I think really it's an alternative to the Mark II as well. And it was something that was reasonably affordable, I suppose. And they're just fabulous car to sit in, and a fabulous challenge for the driver to drive as well.
And the noise, it just blows you. It just puts the shivers up to you every time you hear it. Really, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we tested quite a bit there recently, Kim, and we had a guest with us. You might have seen that I was up in some of the socials there, and that family came along, and that young fella could run the car, and it couldn't have been a better car because the noise and the two-wheel drive and the power and the whole thing about it was, and even them people were blown away by it, like in the type of the car and the noise. The whole experience of being involved in the car like that is incredible. Like, I love it. I'm rallying for far too long, and I still love that M3 more than anything. Like, and it sort of reignites your rally passion. As I say, I'm rallying far too long. It's arguably, but that car is responsible for keeping me at it at the moment.
And like Sean, getting back to the Killarney Historics this weekend, when you hear how many M3s is in the lineup, how many Mark II Escorts is in the lineup, it is just this rally has grown legs. It's got to be a phenomenon. It's the trophy now that everybody wants on their mantelpiece come the Saturday evening.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a couple of things there. Rory mentioned the famous photograph taken at Carry Lake Post Office, and that has resurrected itself again this weekend, and that's featured prominently in the programme because it's a very, very famous photograph indeed. And anyone that was there, and I think I was there myself the same day, not in the particular photograph that's shown, but maybe the first one or the second one, I definitely was at that junction that particular day, I remember it. But Rory mentioned then that there was 11 BMWs coming, but that's counting on the entry list, of course. But as I said, the this rally has this amazing knack of producing incredible side stories. And the 12th one on the entry list is actually none other than Conor Shanahan. He's officially on the entry list as TBA, but he's after getting himself his hands on another Matt's BMW, and he'll be no slouch up Miles Gap on Saturday morning. Then you've got the kind of rebirth and the regeneration of the Group A cars. The first of them are coming through the ranks now, and local man Alan Ring, Alan's hard to beat anyway. On a good day, he's out in a brand new, I'll call it a Group A Impreza, but it's obviously a historic 555 version of the car. And I was talking to my father the other day about it, and he goes, explain this historic rally to me and explain what's going on here, because that man wouldn't. If it was Kerry football we were talking about now, we'd have a better knowledge. But I said, this rally is for lads like myself that forgot to grow up, and we can get the rally cars that we rallied 25 years ago and 30 years ago back out and go racing again. And that's what it's all about. It's the cars that, myself and Rory raced against each other there in the early 2000s in the Group A Imprezas and early world cars, and they're all coming back, and it's all aimed at lads like us, I suppose, that, as I said, forgot to grow up. And long way we be young fellas, I hope.
For sure. Oh, look at that class.
And Sean,
that's original, Kevin. There.
That's what I tell you. That's the way to do it.
That's the way to go.
Anybody remember them?
Yes, I got one billboard.
Yes. And Sean, not that the historic rally is getting stale by any means at all. Like, we see it growing from strength to strength, but surely the Group A is now getting involved. That adds an extra dimension, extra excitement for the years ahead.
Absolutely, and I suppose it's an ever evolving thing. The great Maurice Nagel invented this rally, if that's the right word. That's Paul's father. Invented this rally 29 years ago. We're heading into the 30th anniversary next year, and Maurice's ambition was to have the best drivers in the best historic rally cars in the world at my rally. That was his ambition. And heading towards the 30th anniversary next year, I think we're well on the way of achieving Maurice's ambition. And over the years, when you see who's come here, the late great Craig was a great supporter of the rally. Chris coming this year,
Charlie
Rubin, neck in the line. And all the other good Irish drivers, Donna Kelly, Johnny Greer, our own Rob Duggan, Alan Ring. It is incredible. I just think I wish there could be a few more devices to come out. Maybe the regulars, the Eddie Dohertys and the Josh Moffats. Come on, lads, get your hands in the car.
No, leave them where they are. Leave them where they are.
Give them another year or two.
That's right. No, there should be an age limit put on this.
Must have had your first competition license before 1990 or something like that.
Something like that. Sean, did Bjorn Waldergaard do the Killarney Rally?
He did the Rally de Lakes, and I'm going to say 1994 in a Porsche 911 with B.D. Crawford.
Yes.
I thought that. Well, there you are. And if you think about it, Bjorn Waldegaard was the first ever World Rally champion, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, 78, that's right, yeah.
I think he's no longer with us, but...
No.
Yeah, it just shows you...
There's another yarn like that now, and it doesn't connect with the Killarney Historic Rally, but it connects with famous World Rally drivers that had connections with County Kerry. And the legendary local man, Desi O'Neill, an absolute character, and he drove Vauxhall Chevettes in the late 80s in the Circle of Ireland Rally. Incredible driver, won local rally drivers around here. And at the time, Penty Auricla was the Vauxhall Works driver. And Penty and Desi became great friends. And Penty used to spend a week before the Circle of Ireland in Kerry setting up the car. But the story goes that it was a day in Mount Eagle setting the car up. And it was a day in Cosgrove's pub in Milltown putting it all right, and a day in Carroll Lake putting the car right, and a day in Cosgrove's pub, and it went on like that for the week. Once they made great friends until Pinty passed away some 10-15 years ago. But just one of these random stories that
that is class.
And then Sean, this year new territory, and it's a nod to a very knowledgeable man, a very affable rally man. This is the reason that the rally has kind of moved out Kenmare direction.
Yes, it's run in memory of Mike Gain. Mike was an absolute character. He was a very different sort of a man, but a great man, a great knowledge. And you'd never run a rally in the Kenmare area, or you'd never prepare a rally car for a rally in the Kenmare area without Mick Gain having some form of input in it. You know yourself, when you're building a rally car and 2 or 3 days before the event, the gearbox blows up and someone finds a gearbox for a Talbot somewhere, somebody in Belfast. Mike was the man to go to Belfast for the gearbox. He was the man to talk to all the neighbours and the residents on the Malls Gap stage to make sure the stage could be run. He had fierce knowledge. He travelled the world. He'd been at several Monte Carlo rallies. He'd been at several Rally Spains, Rally Germanys. He travelled the world as an adventurer, but he carried on. He travelled for a rally fan as well. And he used to always, from the Rally of the Lakes or the Killarney Historic Rally, he would stand at the gate of his farm, at the very last right left-hander, over a wee bridge near the end of the stage, and he'd stand there and he'd watch every car from car 1 to 150 through, and he'd have some bit of knowledge about each and every one of them drivers, and he'd know who's going well and who wasn't going well, and he'd predict his results. Obviously, Malls Gap was always the first stage of the rally, and he'd tell you who's going good enough on that last stretch of the road that would be in with the shout come Sunday evening or Saturday evening, depending on whether it was the summer rally or the winter rally. And this man knew it all. And, he passed away in tragic circumstances there in March, and it's well documented what happened there. But the Kenmare rally community kind of came out in force, first when he was missing, to help find him, and then an outpouring of grief that a great man had gone missing. And it was decided that the club would bring the rally to the Fivemiletown area in memory of this man and to honour all the good he did for the rally people in Kenmare and the town of Kenmare in general. And, it takes an army to run a rally, and very often you need a lot of people on the ground to do the PR work and help close the roads and deal with sponsors and all the things that go on to get the rally off the ground. And the Kenmare rally community wanted to be involved, and they wanted to do it for their friend Mike. And when the whole lot came together, it was no-brainer really to, first of all, send it up Malls Gap once, do the 3 stages twice in the Kenmare area, service in the Kenmare Mart. He visited there 3 days a week. He was a cattle and sheep farmer, and he was in the market 3 times a week. So that's bringing it home to him as well. The new stage in Lissyclary Gap passes the home place where he lived, and the rally stage passes the farm. And then to run the stage twice, once in daylight, Malls Gap, and once in dark in the evening, almost passing on his property. And he'd get some giggle out of the fact that all this fuss is in my hometown over me, but I think it's appropriate and a great way to honour a great man.
Yeah, fair play, Sean. That's very, very well put, and we're obviously aware just generally of the story, but it's great to honour a rally man in that way, and I'm sure his family are very proud that the rally's coming that way. And Killarney District Motor Club deserve enormous credit for that. For putting it together. Fair play, eh?
For sure.
Yeah, sure. It is a lovely tribute, and it is a lovely way to honour the man who's so heavily involved down there.
Yeah.
It's I get a shiver up my spine there talking about it, because
sure,
he wasn't a man for the photographs, or wasn't a man for the limelight, but certain things could not happen in Malls Gap, Baloch-Bema, because that was all his territory. And even, as you know, Rory, you did there in 2019, you did the Rally of the Lakes, and there was a stage there at the back of Kenmare. Who's the farmer that finds the bales, that puts the bales in place?
Exactly.
Mike.
Unsung heroes, like.
Mike was one of them guys, it's very good what they're doing, and they're bringing a new media zone. The period of time there, or you'll be familiar with this, where you do the stage in daylight, and there's a bit of a dead time then to make sure everybody's going into the stage in dark. And that's over an hour, and it's only a 45-minute road section. So we're doing a little bit of a kind of a media zone in Kenmare Square on at 4 p.m. on Saturday evening, just talking to a few of the top drivers and creating a bit of a fuss in the town centre before you head for the final service and stick on the pods.
Yeah.
And again, Sean, it's a lovely way of bringing it to the people again. We've said on the podcast many a time, what rally needs is to come out to the people, so that those that maybe wouldn't venture out to a stage get the opportunity to see the cars and the stars. And Sean, this is great that you're providing this.
I fully agree, Connor. I think we're all guilty of hiding this thing away too much. Now, in fairness to the Killarney Club, there's always a special ceremonial starting the Rally of the Lakes, and same in the Historics, and even up in Letterkenny for the Donegal International Rally is special. But how many more rallies up and down the country could create such a circus, or create such a spectacle, and bring it to the people, bring it to the unusual, should we say, the tourists that are in town, or the curious onlookers that are not rally fans. You're dead right, Conor. You've got to bring this to the people and show them what it's all about. And, you know, when they see we're honouring Mike Gain, or see that we're running these events for charity, you know, they may not think that the road closure is such an inconvenience now, because not only are we doing it for our own enjoyment or our own sport, but we're doing it for deeper, more important things as well. And the only way they're going to find out is if you tell them. And the only way you can tell them is by bringing it to the town centre. So,
No, fair play. It's a great thing, eh?
Yeah. And then as well, Sean, too, like this is a truly international event this year too. You know, you have competitors from across the world. You have a Spanish crew coming over.
We do indeed,
We're only days away finished the RAC rally.
Daniel Alonso Villamoro, I think his name is. Correct me now if I said that wrong, but he's a very interesting character. He's just after finishing the RAC rally, England, Scotland and Wales. He didn't finish the rally. He got them Monday morning at some bit of a mechanical glitch that meant he didn't get through that adventure. And what an adventure. I'm looking forward to hearing Barney and Marty on next week if they're coming on to hear that story, because what an adventure that is. But unfortunately didn't finish that rally, but they've left the kind of north west England, Scotland area, dropped into M Sports today, and they're on their way to Killarney with a modified escort. Daniel Alonso Villamora, I think his name is. I just don't have the correct pronunciation in front of me, but the hint is in the surname there. The second surname is Alonso, and this man is an uncle of Fernando Alonso, the multiple world Formula 1 champion. So it's a great wee story, like, and how this man found the rally, and the fact that he's on the way to Killarney after an adventure in Wales, England and Scotland over the last 5 days. He's very welcome, and we look forward to meeting him and his co-driver at the start ramp in College Square, a new venue for the start ramp, College Square in Killarney, on Friday evening. That's right outside the Towers Hotel for people familiar with Killarney. It's not the usual main street near the plaza. The Towers Hotel are the main sponsors, and for that reason, the start ramp is moved to College Square. And we look forward to meeting our Spanish visitors, our guys home from Australia, guys home from America, our Belgian friends, and the counties of Ireland. I did a count the other night, and 30 of the 32 counties are represented on the entry list. Offaly and Armagh are the only ones missing, so that's fairly incredible.
Yes, there's no shame in that.
It's amazing, now. Fair play. Amazing.
Rory, that it touched on something there too, like the international appeal. This, you know, we keep talking about it. Fills hotels, it fills bars, it fills cafes, restaurants. You know, we have such a positive story. It's probably not talked about enough that what we can bring into the economy. There's probably 20,000 people coming into Killarney. That's probably an underestimate. That's going to bring in some money into that town over the weekend.
Yeah, well, you can't argue with the economic benefits that the rally brings. Like, as you say, 20,000. I'd say that's a conservative figure. Like, if you think about the benefits Killarney and Kenmare will get from the rally, will be enormous. And to come at this time of year, I suppose it's an added bonus for the traders. And look, Killarney is always a pleasure to go to. I'm very fond of Killarney, and people in Killarney, they're welcome, and everything you get, and you've got restaurants, hotels and bars and all sorts of clubs and things. It really is a town that's switched on economically to what's going on and the benefits that the rally brings and other events brings throughout the year. But in saying that, we're moving this year to Kenmare with 3 different stages in the Kenmare region, not counting Malls Gap, if you like. But these 3 stages are they're virtually new stages. And to me, and I've rallied a lot in Killarney, or in Kerry, they're new stages to me. And I think the rally is going to be a very neutral rally this year in terms of, we used to go there in the past, and the rally was a very specialised event that you'd been there, Malls Gap inside out, Ballabima, we know Carroll Lake, we know Churchtown, and generally that was the loop. And then on the Sunday, or the alternative was that you went to Kilmacalogue and the Healy Pass, God's Head, Ardgroom. Like, there's none of those classic stages on this year. This year is a very neutral rally with new roads, and albeit that you have 3 versions of Malls Gap, if you like, one in each direction in daylight and then one in darkness. So, the challenge of the rally this year, is going to be different. And, you know, I believe that there could be an upset on the cards here because Rob Dugan sitting there with a very potent escort, and I can tell you what, if he gets 3 goals at Moll's Gap, you know, it could be very, very hard to live with, you know, to gain any time back over the other stages. Like, so I feel it's going to be a very, very competitive rally, very neutral. Chris is coming to the rally. He's done the Rally of the Lakes in 2007, I think. I remember racing against him then, but that's the only time he's been. He's coming now to do the rally pretty much for the first time. The fact that it's newer stages or unrallied stages will give him, you know, it won't be such a disadvantage in coming to Kerry.
And Sean, Rory's touched upon it there. Can you give us a feel for what that entry list looks like? And, you know, if somebody was putting a bet, where who would you mark as a favourite?
Oh, you're putting me in the spot now as well, Connor. I think Rory summed it up there. The fact that it's gone to new territory makes it a very neutral rally. You don't bet against the defending champions. They've won Killarney for a reason, and I'd like to see Rory win again. You don't bet against the 5-time World Rally Championship winner. You don't bet against the man that's won the modified rally in Killarney 5 times, and they're your top 3. So it's a very hard one to call. Alan Ring's Group A car puts a new twist into that. Patrick Snares, he's a European champion and I think it's a 5-time Belgian rally champion. They're your top 5. Where are you going? You're asking me to pick a winner there. That's very, very difficult. Rob Duggan is an interesting factor. He won the rally in 2019. He beat Craig Green in identical historic escorts. He's won the modified rally last year, defending modified champion in the historic class for the first time in since 19, not including the pandemic year. So the first time in 5 years, he's in a proper historic rally car. Not to be underestimated. What else, Connor? I mean, you go down through the ranks there. The modified rally is mad as well. Like, you know, you've got Colin O'Donoghue there. He 2 years ago, he won the modified section in the Rally of the Lakes. He was 14th or 15th overall and won the 2-wheel drive rally. He's not done much rallying this year. Won the Laois Heartlands Rally in the summer and didn't finish the Donegal International Rally. Hasn't been out since Donegal, but he won't be hanging around. You know, but he's got all these Cavan Donegal men coming up behind him. You know, John O'Dugan, Chris Armstrong, local men, Dennis Hickey, the list goes on there. I don't know. There's a lot of permutations in the whole thing. Come on.
No pressure.
And Sean, there was a name you mentioned earlier too, Conor Shanahan, like a man who is, you know, the best is the best in the drifting world. And we've seen that when he steps into a rally car, he's getting faster and faster. I don't think he's going to be too far away come Saturday evening either. Absolutely not. He's a world champion, and he's a world champion for a reason. And he's not inexperienced in rallying. He's got a good few rallies under his belt now at this stage, and he's got at least one, if not 2, Killarney historic rallies done in recent times, and the Rally of the Lakes and the Cork 20, and the list goes on. And he's got the highly experienced Andy Hayes alongside. So, you know, yeah, they're going to be thereabouts. There's no question about it. His father would have been the front runner in the modified section of the Lakes and the historic rally over the years. And the knowledge is in the house as well. They know how to set a time in Moll's Gap. And again, another side story. They're coming here with sponsorship from Tilliston Carburetors. Tilliston are a factory here in Tralee. They're just the other side of town here from me, but they specialise in lawnmower carburetors. But they went into karting carburetors, would you believe? And then their latest product is actually racing carts, the Tilliston carts. You've all seen them in the European Championships. Those carts are developed here in Tralee. And with Conor Shannon and Tilliston, they've developed a drifting cart with the full locks. And that's something that's coming on down the tracks as well. Like, as I say, there's little side stories in this thing all the time, and you could be going off in every direction. But
my goodness.
Yeah, Tilliston are developing a drifting track with I think they call it the lock slops, guys. I don't know with the bigger steering rack, and keep an eye out for that one. That's going to be an interesting story as well.
Yeah.
And whenever you see somebody like Connor coming on, and the appeal he has across social media, with through the drifting, the Red Bull athlete, like this is opening that rally. This is putting eyes onto our sport that wouldn't normally be looking at it too. So those kind of things have to be. It's not that he's just coming to take part. He's coming with thinking he's in with a realistic chance of winning.
Yeah, well, I think Conor Shannon is a very accomplished driver in the drifting world, and very competitive to the point that he wins those events outright and wins the championships outright and competes on a regular basis with the likes of Kelly Robinpera and so on. So he's mixing with the right boys, and he's on top of his game, and he's an elite sportsman no matter what way you look at it. I'm sure when he goes to a different dimension of our sport, I'm sure he'll apply himself and on the right equipment, and as you said, Sean, Andy alongside, it'll be a huge benefit to him as well. And there again, Kevin, look, it's the whole rally. I think is going to be down to Malls Gap. 50% of the rally is made up of Malls Gap, in whatever direction you want to look at it. And it's whoever is best in Malls Gap has a very good chance of winning the rally.
Yes.
If you take, I was just going through it from last year. They're going through the results from last year. Thomas Davis was second quickest up the gap last year. He was quicker than us, and he was only 6 seconds behind Damon Kelly. There's another driver, Ferguson Mara, local driver, very fast on the gap last year as well. Then there's Neil Williams, very, very fast last year. These boys are no slouches, and you shouldn't disregard them at your peril, because they will all be there, when all pushing, and there's so many. Dennis Moynihan, and hey, we never even mentioned John O'Donnell yet.
No, yeah.
John's the reigning tarmac
champion. Yep.
Historic champion. And him and Paddy Robinson, I can assure you, they're going down. I know one team they want to definitely beat. One team anyway, so,
and it's interesting there that Rory mentioned Thomas Davis, and he's back this year, second overall last year, took maximum tarmac championship points in Killarney, but he's back this year in a BMW as well. Switched from the Escort to BMW and snuck out to Belgium there about 3 or 4 weeks ago to do a testing rally. 5th overall, won the historic class. He's coming to Killarney with a local co-driver as well, Shane Buckley. So
Buckley's right,
yeah. Knowledge, experience, and a nice little sneaky, well, I won't call it sneaky, but a nice little clever test under the belt in Belgium 3 or 4 weeks ago under the radar. So dead right.
Not to be underestimated, Not to be underestimated. Underestimated your pair,
Because Sean, it's impossible to predict who's going to be the winner. We always say there's always a top 8, top 10. It's probably 12, 15 guys there that's coming thinking that they're going to be in with a shout.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the interest here, and I'm glancing here at it, and I see another good friend of mine up there from that part of the country, John Bonner, and John's out first time ever in a historic rally car, and I think he's taking his mates Paul McDevitt's Ford Escort, which is a left-hand drive Belgium liveries, Belgium influence coming there again, but very interesting to see how he gets on with that car. He'll be familiar with the gap. It's just interesting to see that John has switched from his modified Class 14 car to a proper historic car as well. We were talking about Rob Duggan earlier. I'm going to glance down the interest here as well. Now, this is a bit of a yarn as well. There's always a yarn, there's always a story.
There's always a Kerry connection.
There's a lovely Kerry connection to this story, actually. There's car number 25 there, Stephen Graney and Johnny Folan from County Galway. And they're out in a Toyota Corolla World Rally car. They're taking advantage of the new for 2025-26 rules that say these cars can contest a historic rally car. Or historic event, sorry. But what's the Kerry connection, you may ask? That's the very car that Chris Meek and Paul Nagel won Rally Barbados in about 20 years ago. So there you go.
Yes.
He's a short man.
Well, it was SO sponsorship back in the day, wasn't it? I think as well.
And that deal was struck in a pub in Killarney on New Year's Day. Ask Nagel about that story sometime.
Oh, Lord. And here, you go down that entry list there, Kevin, honest to goodness sake, there's so many people capable, like Dara Reardon, we never even mentioned.
Never mentioned that.
Cosworth Escort, Sean.
Scott Cosworth. Dara's multiple winner of the Rally of the Lakes. Come on, he has to know what's going on there. Yeah. Dennis Moynihan has won the historic rally a few times in the past as well.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be fascinating, so it is, because we've got so many. It's totally unknown what's going to happen. Chris Meek, you would have to say, it's definitely the fastest driver in the rally. But it's a matter of applying all that to the stages, like.
I just wanted to ask Rory a question there. You just mentioned and I didn't cop it myself, but 50% of the rally based on Miles Gap up and down. How significant is, I suppose, the dark stage? It's the first time in over 30 years that the full length stage has been run in the darkness, and how significant is that stinging tail going to be for the shake up of things when we get into Main Street Killarney under the Christmas lights at 6 Saturday evening?
Well, it's going to be very significant to Sean. Another factor you should remember, it's the longest stage of the rally as well. You know, and it's, as you say, been done full length, and it's very unknown and very hard. Well, we're going to Recce this weekend, or down on, where are we now, on Friday to Recce, and I know making the notes coming down the gap with the amount of traffic that you get this time of year as well up and down there, it's very difficult. And there's a very technical part before the sheep, you know, where the sheep the sheepdog show, you know, the people who run that sheepdog there, where there was a chicane in the past there. Coming down towards that, I reckon it's very difficult to note because it's so quickly so much speed coming in there, and there's a lot of very tricky technical bits to get sorted out. Like, so, I mean, it's a stage that's going to definitely be the sting in the tail, mark my words. I hope it's not our tail, but it's going to be a very, very difficult stage, like, in the dark.
So thanks very much there to Sean and Rory. What can we say? Best luck to all competing now this weekend. It's going to be something else. Like, I just can't wait to the end of the first stage to start hearing times coming in and see how it all unfolds. So Connor, that's the latest episode of Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. They all make a huge difference. So, and until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.